That would have been it. Oops. Okay, now we're live. Teaching a whole class.
Okay, guys. We're just going to go through. This is kind of what it's kind of like preventive maintenance on the armbar. And we're just going to have a look at the two systems. Number one is the hitchhiker, and number two is Kung Fu. Kung Fu is one of my favorite armbar escapes, and yeah, so Kung Fu is basically like we're just doing this, and hitchhiker is obviously that we're going to throw our hitchhiker and we're going to give him a little bit of leg. So the hitchhiker is we're kind of throwing our hand this way and going that way. What I did the class this morning at the gym, but there was a fair bit of rain and people said they had a little bit of trouble hearing. So what I'm trying to do today is I'll go through the class again. I'm going to reiterate a couple of the key points onto the system and probably spend like 15 minutes on the Kung Fu and 15 minutes on the hitchhiker and explain to you what makes them unique and when I do them and where I do them. So first of all, we're going to go through the Kung Fu, my favorite one. Emma's going to be on to, let's just say for argument's sake, that she's on near right on the side here. So she has my arm. And she's controlled the gi, so I understand that she's definitely going to be looking at going for the armbar. So it controls her gi. So she has the armbar. What I'm doing is, I don't put my hand here. And I've kind of explained this, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. If we're playing points Jiu Jitsu and Emma uses her free hand to grab this sleeve, rolls me onto my back, so pulled, she's now got a free upgrade to mount. So she's got an additional 4 points, plus my arms are in a really bad position anyway, so she's still in an armbar or choke position, so my arm's still caught. So what I do is, from here is, what I do, that's fine, is when I'm doing this, so she captures the arm, is I'm going to bring my hand underneath my head from here. I don't have it here. I used to do this quite a fair bit, and it wasn't the Kimura. Like the Kimura is definitely more of a threat from here, and not so much from here. Here, at least I can take her post out, and I can roll her, and I can get out the armbar really easy. So that's right. So I like it. That gives me more escapes than anything else. So go back to the fine point is she has the armbar. My hand comes here, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to, as soon as the foot hits the ground, I'm trying to swat it, but I'm trying to catch my own arm, so I'm trying to cup and swat. I'm not trying to cup and then swat, I'm swatting, and as I'm swatting, my hand comes through. So it's armbar, so I'm kind of doing this motion. So I'll just turn around a little bit. So as Emma steps over my head to do the armbar, as I see it come over, I'm swatting. Right? So I'm swatting to cap, and I'm trying to bring it together. So my hand goes down to my wrist. If my partner's strong and I'm having trouble, what I do is I turn and I rescue. So as she tries to pull my arm's resting on this leg here, and it allows a little bit of freedom. I can now start to turn and to push the leg. Let's have a look at that again. Sorry?
And unlaced.
Yeah. So from here again is, and like I mentioned to you, this is when my partner's going for the armbar, so they actually have the intention of doing the armbar. It doesn't work so well when we're kind of playing and that they're not trying to, we're kind of going more slowly. So she has the arm, has the key for me, so I'm here. Right, so I'm just focusing on the hand motion for now. So as she steps over, once her foot hits that, I'll try to cup it. Let me explain. If her weight's here, this is extremely hard to move. So what I do is I start to roll backwards. When I roll backwards, even though I'm putting myself into the armbar position by giving her the arm, I've controlled this. There's heaps of options that I do from here. One of my favourite ones, and this is really weird, right, is I bring my feet up, I cup it, and I use that to drag. Right, so she tries to rescue.
We're entangled.
Yeah, so I just use my feet to guide. Right? So slow motion again. You okay?
Yeah.
So get off me!
I haven't quite warmed up.
Yeah, I know. So we did a class 90 minutes ago and then cooked the kids dinner, and so from here, so she grabs, I'm down here, and as she steps over, it says, so like I said, I can't just move this. So what I'm doing is I'm rolling. So I'm rolling backwards and I'm lifting. And as I'm lifting, I'm pushing. Hey?
Yeah, almost on a bad man.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? So I'm here. And the whole thing in this way is I can't move my partner anymore. So what I'm trying to do is push the legs down to my legs. So I do a small hip escape to turn her. But I don't want to get in that battle where I'm trying to use my arms against her legs. Right, because I see the guys that kind of get stuck in this. So I'm just going to start with a hip escape and turn the angle. So it makes it easier for me to barrel roll or cylinder roll and puts more weight onto the end of her lever. One more time with the hands. So we're in the position again. You shouldn't be here, but let's just say like, you're playing around and you get caught here. So my hands nice and low. As she steps over, I cover. Now what I'm doing is I'm rolling backwards. I'm lifting here and try and grab. I start to walk away and turn. And it's such a powerful, look, you don't see what's happening, but all her arms are kind of caught together.
Bottom one's on the wrist lock.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a wrist lock or an arm bar. So they'll generally try to pull the arm out. Now, as they pull the arm out, I come up off screen, so I'm in a far better position. Just move over a little bit, secret, good to see. So from here. So what I'm going to talk about now is I'm going to talk about my leg position. So Emma catches the arm bar again, and my hand goes to the position again. But I'm trying to pull this as close as I can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my legs in, so everything's tight. Right, so my legs aren't here. I'll pull them in tight. Right. What this does is, as Emma's doing the arm bar, right, she throws the leg over my head to the arm bar, and I'm in the position once again to control. This is, you know.
I laugh at this. It's just like a tangled of bodies, but yet there's a reason and a process behind everything.
Yeah.
But you look at the screen and you're like going, really?
I think I did a post on the Armbar Gym Facebook page today about paddling out into a big swell for the first time and watching all these guys duck dive in waves and paddle out and duck dive, and I kind of went, how hard can that be? Got my bodyboard and ran out, duck dive and got smashed, and tried to paddle and got smashed, and weight swallowing salt water and end up on the beach dry reaching. I was just like, man, what am I doing different to these guys? I'm doing the same stuff, I thought, you know what I mean? And a lot of times when we first start Jiu Jitsu, like people walk into the gym and they see two bodies wrong, like, well, that doesn't look that hard, just laying on top of each other and anyone can do that. And then when they originally jump in to do it, they're like, wow, I remember originally one of my black belts, Steve Green, came in and he was with one of his friends, Phil Ward, and they came into my gym in Mirrabooka and walked up the stairs, and I remember them kind of thinking, these little guys, and we've done some martial arts training before, we've been doing it for a while, how hard can it be? I remember talking to Steve Green after, he kind of went wow, just wow, it was such an amazing experience, And so even though it's a negative experience for your first couple of times on the mat, and look, you still get negative experiences now, it's how far have you come from what you were, and more importantly, how good are you going to feel when you overcome these obstacles? That moment, that your first submission you get, wow, your first tournament submission, your first tournament gold medal, that time that someone wraps that belt around your waist, there's all these, your first tip. Your first tip in Jiu-Jitsu is amazing, I've got my first tip. So, there's all these little victories that people forget about, and sometimes at grading nights, people kind of go, they're getting their tips, man, that's so important. the tip grading is so important to people. Like it's, and look, maybe not to you, but Jiu-Jitsu is not always just about you. It's about your team and the people that are around you, and what floats your boat. Like what keeps you coming back, what keeps you training, what keeps you motivated. And like the art of rolling, like whether you're winning in tournaments or whether you're losing, the fact that you're on the mats rolling and trying, I mean, that to me is worth its weight in gold. Keep coming back, and it's whether you like the limelight of competing and being out there, or the nerves or whatever, but it just overcome that obstacle. That one time you get that submission, that gold medal, it's like, that's worth its weight in gold. I'll come back to it. Okay, so Emma's got the armbar. And the two things, so number one now is, for me, the way that I don't do this, right? I keep this here, but I try and couple, so everything's in nice enough. If I can't get to the control here, I'll go my gi. I'll go my gi, here, and I'm here. Secondly, is I'm in tight. So this is, I've gone to fetal position, defensive position. Now, as I feel Emma start to do the armbar, I do two things. So as she goes a little slow, so as she does the armbar, I start to expand.
You want to slow?
That was slow. You should see me do this fast. Secondly, says I don't do this. Right? I'll wait and I turn, and as the leg comes over, it'll actually just run to my hand. Oh, thank you. And I wait. So now I let go and I hold. So I'm changing from here to here, and I simply start to do Michael Jackson move, or and push. I can strap if I want to. So this way I have the ability to put pressure onto her leg. So it's harder for her to lift it. I now put pressure. How's that feel?
Oh, fudge. Oh.
So it's just a nice way to...
Definitely opened up my spine and separated my shoulders from my spine quite well.
It's different, isn't it?
It does, because your arms are fully trapped, but yet the ground's got this shoulder this way, so you're just getting literally rolled in and your arms are stuck.
There's times that this is backfiring. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing that's foolproof and works every single time, otherwise we'd just do that one move all the time. I'll show you what I'm looking for, okay? So from the armbar position, number one is, I don't want my arms straight, so this is like here, is always good for me, right? And whether they attack my throat or not, so what I'm doing is I'm coming in and I'm fetal position, my hand under my head. Now, as she starts to do the armbar, I'm just straightening up. As I straighten up, but she wants to be here anyway.
So I don't see anything wrong.
Yeah, so she's going like, oh, wicked, she's wrong. Now, as I'm coming up, well, I should be saying, I'm just turning my hand. Got it. Now, a lot of times that I've said is you take the leg off your head. The downfall is I'm coming up into a triangle if I do that. If I take this here, this is my arms put behind, this is triangle territory. So what I'm trying to do is push it back. This is really hard to do. So I create the space to push it into. Pop. And I like to step over. The step over just means that it's controlled. And she might go for my collar, Okay, wrist lock, good luck with that. So what I do now is I simply roll my knees, and everything's in tight. So I've got my control. So that's my favourite escape. I'm going to show you the same escape platform mount now. You okay with that, mate?
Yeah.
Okay, so Emma's on mount. And the way I'm going to do it is, I'm going to dictate the pace. So she'll go wicked, there's an armbar. I go hold my gi.
Should have gone wicked.
Hand goes under my head. And once again, bring my legs in, go straight, forwards, boom, got it. Okay, hand here and hand here. The downfall on the mount one is that her legs are over my body. So it's harder for me to move my body. Does everyone understand? So I don't want to push this here once again. I don't want to get, well, this is a weak grip anyway. I try to keep this tight. So what I start to do is I start to turn towards my partner and lift. So from here is I'll moonwalk a little bit, but what I'm doing is I'm driving into my partner. And we still get caught here. So she's still trying to do the armbar. I've had people hold my leg from here, which is really annoying. right? Yeah, the whole, like, you know, like, okay, I can't. So think about it this way, is I just want to start to turn. And I've still got my grips. Come up. So for me, that's like my favourite armbar escape. I'm just going to get Emma onto her back and I'm inside the guard. Slide back towards me 3 times. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Good work. Okay. So Emma's caught my arm, and I know she's going to do the armbar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to protect exactly the same thing from here, but I can't hold my gi. So this comes here. I don't cross my arms, guys. Can you just move your top arm? So my elbow's sitting kind of in the crook. I don't. This is really bad because she can choose either armbar now. It's really bad. So what I do is I keep this here, hand open. As she pushes my face and swings, I'll block it. The hardest part is this: to stop her from extending, I take my head over her head and I step. So if she tries to tip my head to the mat, right?
I'm just trying to do this.
If I'm here, yeah, like she's got so much power. So I step. So my guys, come on down. I step.
Is
So
that your excuse?
yeah, I'm here. Now, to do the armbars, I simply start to put my knee out and shimmy. Hands. How are you feeling? Thank you. Spin and armbar. So it's a really, like, because she wants to extend my arm to armbar. I mean, that's how the armbar works.
Yes.
So instead of cupping her head and possibly giving her a cutting armbar, I just stack over her, but my leg steps around. And that takes away her powers of her hamstrings as well. Against some of the bigger, stronger guys, I modify this a little bit. Sorry, just put my belt on. So some of the bigger, stronger guys, I'll modify this just a little bit, and I'll talk you through now. So Emma's inside the guard. On her back, I'm inside Emma's guard. So she catches the armbar, my hand goes to here, she pushes, and from here. So the first thing that I do is I raise her hips off the ground. So think about it this way, is I don't want her to be here, she's very strong here, like she can kick me up. So what I do is, I'm not driving forward, is I'm lifting hips up and putting a wedge under. So she kicks away.
I can't.
Everything's, so it's really important that, you okay, babe?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So here, she's strong. So I lift the hips, so I drive my ear in, I lift the hips up, and I put a frame in there. So she tries to, yeah, but as she's pushing, I'm turning. As she's pushing, I'm turning. Grab hold, and I'm looking for the guard pass and the armbar. So if I go to here, 3 points. Even though she initiated the guard pass, I initiated the armbar. Sorry, don't get you to that. Even though she initiated the armbar from the guard, I still escaped the armbar and got to the side position, so I still get my 3 points. And that's just a really nice way to finish the guard or to escape the guard armbar. I'm trying to be really light, but there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Now, raising those hips up off the ground just takes away a lot of her power.
For me, I find here on the spine,
Yeah.
that buckling and bearing your weight of mine would happen. Yeah, just was fine.
Yeah.
I can't push back.
Yeah.
So what? It's supporting
My weight and your
my
weight.
own weight
Yeah.
on my shoulders. But not even on my shoulders, it's like
I'm just driving you into the mat.
into my spine.
Yeah, so you just got to kind of play around with it, get that little dynamic drive. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, like I've done this and I've missed it or whatever, and I've been armbarred as well, but but generally this is one of my favourite go-tos, and this is one of my favourite ways of escaping the armbar. We're just going to go through to the salute escape now. The salute escape is just a really easy one. It's generally done from the knee right armbar, and I'll explain why. So Emma is on the knee ride, and she has my arm. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to throw Emma like over that way, not that way. Right, so she has my arm, and if I push her backwards, my arm extends so I get armbarred. Where if I kind of put my hand here, my arm's still bent, right? So it, like my hand's still here. What I'm trying to do from here is I'm trying to turn my legs as far away from her as possible. I'm going to add bits and pieces as we go. So this is just stage one. So if you can't get this part right, you definitely can't get the other part right. But what I want to do is this part I see is when people walk, they let this arm straight. So they end up doing the hitchhiker and they go to here and they get armbar. So when I do my hitchhiker, it's really important that I keep this angle tight. So she's done the armbar, I'll hold the leg, and this angle stays tight. So it stays tight. Let me explain to you again. Knee right armbar. So as we're doing this here, she has the arm. What I'm trying to do is I use the same motion with my legs. My legs come here, and I'll try and throw her that way. That way, not that way, definitely not that way. My legs have already started the turn. Because I've come in, my legs have already started the turn. What I've got to do is I've got to try and keep this tight. Right. So to make it easier for me to have space to move is this, watch. That. So that allows me to step my leg over. This, so bridge, puts her weight backwards, allows me to step from here. So my arm's pretty well out of it. I just got to watch the omoplata and the triangle from here. So the two ways of doing is I roll onto the leg. I roll onto the leg, which makes it harder for her to put me into the triangle. Where a lot of the time I see the guys, they just do the barrel roll, and they kind of end up more like in a omoplata and try to get a good workout on your legs. So from here is I throw my partner this way, pop, and if I just barrel roll, she can pop, and like even if I pop up, kind of popping up inside the omoplata, which isn't the best thing for me. It's really good for her, and that's a really good drill. We did that in the earlier class. I will come back to this drill because it's actually a really good drill for both people, the armbar and the armbar escape. So to stop her from, to stop her from putting me into an omoplata or the triangle, I like the little roll onto the leg, right? So let's just go through the finer details again. You're okay to squat it and do that. It's not like we're doing a leg workout today. So she's here, and I'm trying to go slow from here. So what I'm doing is I bring my legs, and I kick my legs. I'm doing a small bridge, so I'm trying to throw her that way. Got it? So as she does the armbar, steps over, I throw her that way. And my arm, so this arm here stays, it is not going straight, it's here. Push, right, and I start to turn. So as I'm doing a bridge to turn. What I do now is I pop up onto the leg. Right, so black belts and brown belts, we're sliding straight into the knee bar. Right, really nice position. I've got that control of the heel. Yeah, just the heel is all I want from here. So I'm rolling onto the leg. That takes a little while. Sorry about that. That takes a little while to get that little practice about rolling onto it, not under it. And I mentioned in the earlier class we were doing this about the one goes to an ankle lock, one goes to a knee bar, and I've taught this several times, but
I taught this coming into one of the grading nights, and it was a technique that saved me against a really good armbar expert, Camero. We were fighting in the Chardonnay Nationals, and the first time I fought him competitively for a medal, and I went for a cross collar choke, missed the cross collar. I still think I could have got it. I just didn't believe in myself enough. I let go of the collar choke, and unfortunately, as I let go of the collar choke, he got my arm and rolled to an armbar, and it was deep. Like, the armbar was really deep, and I had Dave Hart on the corner yelling to Cam, "Oh, you've got the armbar, you've got the armbar." I'm in the middle of the fight going, "No, you haven't, no, you haven't." But I'm thinking like, "Holy shit, my arm's going to snap soon." I ended up rolling out of it, and of course, Cam was so intense on holding the armbar that he gave me the ankle lock, and I just rolled straight to this ankle lock. So we're going to go to a flashback there. So what happened was, Emma was, I'll do the whole thing. So Emma was inside my guard, and I did cross collar choke, and he started to pass my guard this way, and I caught the half guard, and what he did, he started to set the arm up, so his right hand would come underneath and grab my arm. Right, so I'm in the cross collar choke, and I've got the half guard. I'm like, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, and then that little bit of self-doubt. So I've released this to try and sit up. He's back stepped and gone straight to mount.
Oh, mount?
Yeah, so back step straight mount and caught the arm. Bob. And me being me, went, "Hey, I know how to get out of this." 1, 2, legs in, and as he throws the leg over my head to the armbar, well,
oh, sorry.
Catch. Got it. So from here, cut. Now, this part, he was so tense, he kept holding the arm. So I rolled, and I come through to his ankle lock. And he's still got his hands down on here. So this got to the stage where I've ended up doing the ankle lock while he's still trying to do the armbar. So that was a little bit of history, So, sorry guys, the hitchhiker escape again, let me just go through the details. First of all, is on the armbar, is I don't take my partner onto their back. I do a small bridge. What I try to do is I'm trying to throw them over the shoulder here. Right. The best way I know how is I go bridge and I throw them. So I'm in the hitchhiker position. Everyone understand? Okay, comes up here, comes over, turn my hand, but I keep it at the 90 degrees, I'll push. Just, yeah, okay. And as I'm here is, I do my bridge and step over from here. So bridge, step over, roll. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to roll. So her leg, so she's going to pull, which is caught inside the guard. She goes with it. I've got the armbar. Well, boom, shimmy, 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 grab, pass, knee right. She sets up there, hitchhiker. Funny about that. You want a shot or? You want a shot or not? So, she throws me backwards, hitchhiker, shows me some leg, walks away, big bridge, big bridge, big bridge, comes around, ends up popping up, pops up, and I go from here, rescue, guard armbar. So cool. I've got this. So Emma brings her hand in, quick, this one here, no here, like this. Like, okay, so as I go, guard armbar, she blocks her, steps up, she's doing great, drives me up, walks around my guard, I block it, she takes my arm, she does an armbar. Worst thing was we've done this twice.
It's the second shot in like 12 hours. Or less. 10 o'clock is on 6 o'clock. So 8 hours. Yeah, Adam, I love training with you. It's so good. I learned so much from your training partner.
I learned nothing. Maybe I should watch the video.
Not this one. Okay, guys. Oh, notification battery's getting. Okay, guys. I'm going to I do a flow drill tomorrow. So in the class I do the flow drill. So the first flow drill will be off the hitchhiker, and then the second flow drill we'll do off the kung fu. Okay. So we'll put these together so you actually have a system on how to do them. That was kind of a little bit of a repeat of earlier class day, but we added a little bit more entertainment into this class. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate your time. Can't wait to see you guys. It's honestly, it's getting to that stage where
training partner.
Not fun. So yeah, it won't be long, guys. We'll be back into training soon. Just stay safe, man. Like, keep your head in the zone, please, guys. When we're back, you know, it's going to be so good to be back on the mat with all you guys. I miss you all, you know. Miss training the kids, miss the coaches, miss everyone. But yeah, it'll happen, guys. Just be patient. 1 week that we're closed is 1 week closer to we open. Cool. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Cool. Thank you.